Hey everybody, Jim Johnson here, and I was thinking about as we were putting together this Contractor Evolve program that if maybe I did a little walkthrough of it, it might make more sense than me answering 5 billion phone calls about it. And so what I did is I put together a little walkthrough presentation. I'm going to kind of walk you through that this morning, and maybe I'll show you a few things that we might be teaching in there as well on how I do this process. And so, number one, we're here and we're doing this because we feel like we need to serve our industry. And we're going to do this Contractor Evolve program. We can only handle about 100 contractors in it at a time in order to give the best possible service. If that fills up, we'll cross that bridge whenever we get there. If more people need to be helped, if that's opening up another session or whatever it may be. But for now, we're going to stick with 100 contractors. The idea behind this is we don't know where this thing's going to go, if it's 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, but this is something that we've all been thinking about, and just kind of how do we put it all together and really become more of a virtual operation, a 21st century company, Contractor 2.0, a virtual contractor, whatever you want to call it. And in an effort to do that, we've kind of been working on these things behind the scenes for the last couple of years. Kind of ever since I saw that you could buy a car online, I was like, hey, if you can buy a car, they're going to be able to buy a roof. So better start thinking about this. And that's how we are. We try to think down the road what's coming. And so we put this program together, and then we had it most of the way there. But for the last 2 weeks, obviously, I've worked quite a bit harder in putting this together to get it out a little bit earlier due to the current circumstances. We believe in the attitude of adapt and overcome, the Marine saying. You're faced with situations and challenges. We don't crawl in a hole. We don't run from the battle. We run to it. And we hope that you guys do it with us as well. And so take the bull by the horns here. Don't sit back and fear and worry. Because we're going to show you why you shouldn't be worried and what we can do to help you through all this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this presentation and kind of this walkthrough of how we're going to be helping people. So the program's called Contractor Evolve. It's powered by us here at Contractor Coach Pro. We have been coaching contractors for the last 7 years in a variety of things, a very holistic way, everything from leadership, culture, organization, accountability, process, finance, marketing, sales, production, technology, training, and then recruiting, hiring, and onboarding. So you can see it's a very holistic thing. We usually dig in one-on-one and really dig into a company, help them get everything kind of put together, tools, processes, digital presentations, you name it, we're kind of doing those things. A lot of our companies, as I posted last night about this program, we're like, hey, we're fully digital. And that's because a lot of that work that we did up front. So fortune favors the bold. So how are we going to be bold? Well, let's understand the situation first. So the situation is that the coronavirus threatens our industry. It is a situation, and really technology and disruption in general threatens your way of doing things if you are a contractor that tends to do things with door-to-door and paper and face-to-face meetings. These other contractors have been working towards this for some time, and we want to help you catch up as quickly as possible. Social distancing is for real. Do not take this coronavirus thing lightly. It is for real. Practice those best practices. Disclaimer here, I'm not a doctor or am I an expert. I only know what I've been told. I suggest that you go out there and educate yourself as well. Some of the basics is like keep 6 feet away. I'd keep 10 feet away. And do everything you can to not have that contact right now, whether it's in work or in social settings. It's going to be really important to our medical system and our medical people that they get through this as well with as little craziness as possible. The old school ways of doing business will change and are changing like immediately. And so we're going to have to adapt and overcome, like we said, adjust, pivot, be agile, all those words. Like, don't think of this as like, oh my goodness, what's happening to me right now. Be very smart and think about this as strategy. We're playing chess, and who's going to win the game? Who's going to get checkmate? And our whole goal is to help you win this game of strategy and chess that we're playing right now. People are really in 4 different places or levels of fear. There's the really scared. Those are the guys that are like self-quarantine. I ain't coming out of my house. Leave me alone. It's the apocalypse and that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of those people. There's a lot of people that are very concerned. They may be older. They may have health risks. They may have autoimmune deficiencies. They may have a family member that is. So it's really serious to them. Scared but responsible. Social distancing and preparation. I would call this the least fearful. It might be even a better term, maybe concerned or worried, but not necessarily scared. Scared, but acting like they aren't. I'm not changing how I live my life. Some of that attitude, I think some of those people are the people that are the most scared because it's threatening their way of life. They're very used to the way things go. They haven't gone out and educated themselves to figure out really what all this does and how it plays out over time if we aren't responsible. And so maybe there's a little bit of that. We're Americans, we're going to be perfect, but I think Italy is a pretty good example of what happens when you have that type of attitude. And I'm not going to put my religious well, I will keep my religion in it, but my political beliefs in it, I'm going to set those aside. I do have some religious beliefs. I believe that this is all part of God's plan, and we're here to see what we can do to jump over this obstacle that's put out there. Conspiracy theorists. Everyone is out to get us. I've seen a ton of those type of posts on Facebook. So, if you understand that these people are in these various places, you got to understand where you are, like where am I? And then where are they? Where are they at in this process? And so when you know those 2 things, you can start to communicate because we can meet them where they are. The communication is going to be key in this, and education is going to be key in this. So meet people where they are. Don't disregard what it is they're saying. I understand why people might be scared of self-quarantine. I understand the conspiracy theorist side of things. I want to talk to people and help them understand where I'm coming from so I can understand where they're coming from. And if we treat it that way, we're going to be able to have a conversation, a discussion, open line of communication and engagement, which may allow us to actually get to work with those folks. It is time to evolve as a contractor, and so we're going to help you do so. And so we got to understand what's sitting behind the scenes right now. It's fear, and so fear is a lack of knowledge. That's really what it is. Think of it being scared of the dark. You don't know what's in the dark. Being scared of the situation. We don't know what's going to happen to our businesses, how long it's going to last, how to take care of our people and our families. All those things are kind of sitting behind the scenes. So the best way to solve fear is through education. Educating people that maybe this isn't as bad as everybody thinks it is. Maybe we can adapt. Maybe we can innovate. Maybe we can be creative. Be curious on how you can problem solve and not just sit there and worry. Provide them knowledge. Educate them on what's going on and how you're going to handle it. If you give them that knowledge, you will give them confidence. And when you give them confidence, they will have belief. And this not only goes for your customers and your family, but your people as well. You guys that are leaders, you have to come up with this vision of how you're going to move quickly, be agile, and take care of them. And they need to understand that. You need to be able to explain it well. And you need to get that belief, because if they don't believe, they're going to start looking for other options. So we've got to go from this place of fear to this place of peace. So that's what's up there with the solving of fear. And so a virtual strategy, or what that might look like, and what we're going to be working on. First things first, we got to create leads. And so we got to figure out how that's going to be. Are we going to do it in-house? Are we going to outsource it? How are we going to do it? Are we going to use some door-to-door virtual tactics? And we've got some cool ideas there and some things that we've been working on. Digital marketing and understanding it, social media, Google, and all those things. Like, do we have the people to do it? And really the thing you need to think about most with this strategy. What are the skills of your people? What are the talents of your people? And what resources do you have available to you? That's going to help you really decide, do I do this in-house or do I outsource it? Do I hire somebody? Do I let somebody go? Like, those are things that we have to consider with this strategy. And back to that marketing, individual initiatives, like, hey, can we get our people doing some marketing for us? Telemarketing is an option, direct mail. And through all these things, we're going to have some scripts for you. We're going to talk about how you do it in a virtual world where I'm not actually face to face, and how that might look quite a bit different, and fine tune it. Like, that's the game. Like, not just be able to do it, but be able to do it great. Engagement, how are we going to engage with people, communication, and what that might look like. We're going to cover not just how to use a Zoom call or something like that, because we have to meet people where they are. Maybe they communicate differently, so we got to understand that. We have several tools we're going to talk about there, some cool stuff to capture information and get conversations started. So we're going to be really covering that hard, because this upfront part, marketing, getting people in our world and our ecosystem, and then being able to engage with them. If we can accomplish those two things, we can then help them throughout the rest of the process, because we can do, if not everything, almost everything virtually. It'll be all about those inspections, and that's what's next. Are we going to go and do on-site inspections? I believe that we certainly can, as long as we're not having this human interaction, and it's not necessary. There are all kinds of tools out there that allow us to do a variety of different things, whether it's sharing pictures and videos, FaceTime. There's all kinds of cool stuff, and we've got some really sharp tools there, and even some live streaming stuff. So it's really sharp stuff that we've been able to kind of put together here real quickly. Now, we can use drones and stuff like that to kind of do some of these inspections and even stay further away. And then could you actually do it virtually? And so we've got some really cool vendors and partners that we've talked to that help in those areas. And so if you're retail, you certainly can. And there's a lot of great technology tools for that. And so this is for all contractors. I want to make that real clear. I don't care who you are, what you do all of these things. And so how do you do them in a virtual world? We really work with a lot of roofing contractors, but what a lot of people don't understand, a large percentage of our business is also just any contractor. So we want to help all of you through this. The next thing is sales and how we set expectations, how we're going to deliver our presentation process. It can't just be this right here. And so if, for example, I'm going to stop my screen share here real quick. If, for example, all I was showing is that presentation, that's not very engaging. Or if it's just this, I'm not reinforcing what it is that the person's learning. And so we need to have a little bit of this face-to-face thing. We also need to understand that our ability to have knowledge of that person that's across the video screen from us is severely hampered because of the situation. I didn't get to walk up to their house and see kids' toys or ATVs or great landscaping or any of that kind of stuff. So this ability to build rapport is going to change and be different. We actually have some really cool scripts and tools to help you out there. And finance. And so what does that finance aspect of your business look like? A lot of us go out and pick up checks and all throughout the process. How are we going to revamp our process to handle that type of situation? We also have to be very cognizant of setting expectations and what that looks like. And knowing your numbers, like it's going to be paramount. Like if you didn't know your numbers before, you better know them now, so you can make great decisions on what to do and when to do it. A lot of us, we do pretty well in this, and it's very profitable, and everything's all good, and we have a lot of waste. As we coach contractors, we find a lot of that and help them clean that up. But we can still kind of operate and do pretty well, actually. In this case, it's going to be a much tougher, and it could be the difference between staying in business or not. We're also going to talk leadership, so virtual leadership and what that looks like, and getting this vision buy-in and how you're going to go about doing that. Setting expectations for your people, holding them accountable to those expectations, and then training and coaching. That's going to be really almost an advantage, not a disadvantage to what we were doing before. We've got some pretty cool ideas there as well. And then recruiting. You've got, these online funnels, assessments, and interviews, and we can do all of that stuff digitally. We have several clients that are currently doing that. And remember, all of these things, it's like, hey, do I do this in-house or do I outsource this? Do I do this in-house or do I outsource this? Where are my skills, my talents, and my resources available? So how do we get you there? Contractor Evolve for Business, that's the main program. That's what we're doing. It's called the Virtual Contractor 30-Day Challenge. Our challenge is to take you from that door-to-door, paper-filled virtual meeting world to a online marketing, digital interaction, engagement, paperless, and virtual meeting world and not just the high level of the how, the what, these things, right? But we're going to dig in and get into the how, the refinement, the scripts, the tools, the everything. We're going to do daily meetings. So 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, we're going to meet at 2:30 in the afternoon. And we're going to kind of have an agenda. I'll get that in just a minute to help you through. You can attend every meeting if you want. You can attend some of the meetings. We're going to record them all, and they'll be there for posterity reasons. So from the time you join, you'll get every recorded meeting that was a part of your time with us. Task tools, scripts, and templates to get you up and running. So we've got tons and tons of these digital presentations of different varieties for retail and insurance and commercial and so on. We've got quite a few of those different things. We've got some tools as far as like the scripts and several of them that are written so you can actually practice those as a team. Guest expert training. We're going to have guests come in and work with you guys that'll help you on the marketing side or help you on the technology side or help you understand some of the psychology that may be going on here. Marketing and sales success tracking. We don't just want to do this. We want to track your success with it. And so this is optional. You don't have to do it, but we're going to supply you a form for the sales side of things that you got to fill out once a week. It takes about 10 minutes to fill it out, but we'll be able to take that data and turn it into a dashboard to help you make great decisions for your business. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to track your marketing. We have a tool that can do that as well. We'll send you a report once a week on how your marketing is doing. And then some ongoing refinement. We hope that through this 30 days, you guys get what you need for the basics to get it down and that you can be virtual. But we hope that you find this so valuable, you stay with us and we refine, make it better, add information to the equation and get better and better. And as long as we provide value, we know this, like as long as we provide value, you'll be our client. If we're not providing value, you'll fire us. And so we like that situation because it puts pressure on us to really deliver. And I think it's really the way things should go. I don't believe in contracts and all that other good stuff for long periods of time. Get what you need from us, get out there and get after it. And if you find us of value and you think, hey, our ROI is more than what you're spending, hang out with us. And then the other aspect of what we're doing is Contractor Evolve sales. And so this one is once a week. It'll be on Monday mornings at 11 o'clock. So we can start with those guys right away, get them some tools, get them some encouragement, get them some coaching of how this world is going to change. So online weekly meeting, some sales coaching, this refinement of what they're doing, and then also working with the sales leaders and talking about how to lead your team and how to hold them accountable. We're going to get into that in that meeting as well. We want to grow those other sales guys into being leaders someday, so they might as well learn some of that stuff. So it's a good place for us to help you start to grow some leaders as well. So what's included? Like I said, there's a daily hour-long Contractor Evolve business and leadership meeting or call to help you develop and implement a virtual strategy that works for you. And that's the thing. All of you have different skills and talents and resources. You have, there's a big difference between a $500,000 company and a $50 million company and what they have available. And we want to meet you where you are. So we're going to, it doesn't matter what tools and abilities you have, we're going to be able to help you get through this. Virtual Contractor Strategy Guide. So we're going to give you a little guide that, hey, this is what we're going to be going through and the things that you need to do best practices wise. Industry experts on the calls to give you insight you need to make great decisions. Tools and templates, weekly success tracking, guidance on leading a virtual workforce, how to train using virtual technology with what we call high performance learning plans. For the last 2 years, I've really spent a lot of time learning how to learn. And so we're going to teach you guys how to actually be great coaches and how to not only do that and coach, but also maybe how you could create these learning plans yourself, sharing a little bit of our own secret sauce. And it's not done yet. We got more access to the contractor training room to assist you with your virtual training. We have hundreds of hours of information in there and training, psychology, and all of those good things. And we're creating a bunch of new content just for this virtual world that as a Contractor Evolve member, you're going to get access to that stuff for as long as you're a member. the ability to be a part of a group think tank. And that's the most powerful part of this, probably, that we're going to get together as a group. We're going to bring a ton of value on our side, where we're going to be able to answer the majority of your questions, but you guys are going to bring value back. You're going to bring, hey, I'm doing this and it's working. I'm doing this and it's working. I tried that and that didn't work. And so why didn't it work? We'll dig into it, refine it, and maybe it's not a bad idea. It just wasn't executed very well. Access to the Contractor Evolve private Facebook group. So there will be a private Facebook group for this. Every single one of you that become members will add you to it and give you a place to communicate throughout the week with your peers to execute. And we'll also communicate with you there as well with new updates, things coming out, reminders on meetings and things like that. Access to all the recorded meetings. So from the time you join until you're done with us, you'll get whatever meetings those are, and you'll have access to them as long as you're a member. Weekly survey for questions for the coach. So we've created a survey. We're going to give it to you. You could fill it out every single day if you want to, and get your questions answered in that meeting. It's going to be a better way to do it than throwing out a bunch of questions during the meeting. Although if it's execution type questions or some clarification type thing, we're going to want that. We're going to talk about that in those meetings. And so questions are welcome. We just want to get a bunch of them put together, see if there's anything uniform, and if there is, get those questions answered all at once instead of going through a whole bunch of them. And then access to massive vendor discounts. We've got with a lot of vendors and working with those guys to help you guys get through this with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Great people at a variety of different places. They're going to be helping you out, and we'll clue everybody into what those are in the actual member site. When and where? So when does Contractor Evolve start? It starts Monday, March 23rd at 2:30 p.m. You can join at any point after that. How much does it cost? We're transparent about this. It's $9.97 a month. It's really kind of the least expensive we could get it down to, that still provided the resources that we need to put this on for you. There's an optional aspect of this that you can do an add-on for the sales training call. So you could do just the $9.97, get the business stuff down and handle your own sales training if you want. Or if you want to add on that weekly call for your team, that's another $4.97 per month. So you'd be looking at $14.94 total. Really about the commission on one job. If we can't help you sell one more job virtually than what you're doing, please fire us. We do not deserve it. There is a money back guarantee with this too. So you're taking a little gamble here to $9.97 or $14.94 with us. And if you don't think you're getting what you need out of it, or you knew everything that we're sharing with you, ask us for your money back. We'll give you a money back guarantee. We won't even ask any questions. We'll just give it back to you. You cannot do just the sales training call though. So it doesn't really work without getting the business side of it straight and being aware that, hey, we have given you this information. It won't make sense to the people that are in it. So it is an add-on. It is not something that you can do separately. So Mondays, we're going to do virtual marketing. We're going to really focus hard on marketing. You see, it's all by itself there. We're going to really focus in that area because it's going to be the thing that's the linchpin. How do we communicate? What are some of the things that we need to think about differently than we do currently? And how do we get those people engaged? Tuesdays will be virtual documents and inspections and how we might be able to perform those. Wednesdays will be virtual presentations and the refinement of those and putting those together, the structure and why you put them in a certain fashion, how you deliver them in a certain way. Thursday is virtual accountability and finance, so holding your team accountable and also understanding your numbers. Friday is virtual leadership, and so how we're going to lead our teams in this new virtual world where we may not be able to put our finger right on them. And then Saturday being close the gap day. So close the gap. There's all these things that you worked on all week long. What do you have to finish and get tasks done? Hey, this is 6-day week time. This is time to pull up our bootstraps and get to work. We've always said, I don't have enough time to do all these things, right? That's our excuse. I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. Although you sit over the winter and don't do a whole lot. So except for travel and vacations, maybe, I don't know. But events have made time for you. Take these next 30 days, do something powerful for your business. Think about this. It may be the way that you continue to do business once this is all through, or at least you have the ability to do it. And then finally, Sunday is a day of rest. Even God rested on the seventh day, and we think you should too, for two reasons. One is like, hey, you're going to need it. They're going to do a lot of work. And two is it's time to spend time with your family, spend time with yourself, work on you as a human being, and be a great person. So if you like what you've seen and you think, hey, man, this Contractor Evolve thing is going to be a good thing for us, on our site, you can go to contractorevolve.com, click Evolve Now or sign up, and it'll take you right down to our pricing page, and you can click register. If you want more information, you can text us at 830-355-3255, and we'll get right back to you on whatever your questions are. Unfortunately, we can't handle a whole ton of questions over the phone, although I'm answering as many as I possibly can. But if you want to text us, and you'll text us your first name, and then we'll ask you for whatever your question is, we'll give you an answer. Hopefully that'll get you where you need to be about our program. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. We hope we're here to serve. We don't want people to think that we're coming from this from taking advantage of an opportunity. But we do need to help you guys. And so that's where it comes from. It comes from the heart. It comes from our core values to love, serve, and care. That's our core values. And we kind of put it into a little saying that if we care enough to willingly serve you, you'll know that we love you. And so that's what we're doing here. And we're empowering people to believe not only in themselves, but in us. Maybe that there's a higher power at work here. And we're all going to get through this just fine. Guys, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.